Let's take a look then at what is on the menu. The introduction of the race is 47 kilometres. The riders' first section from Rattenberg to Peel is a classic flat road race. After 25 kilometres, the riders reach Peel, where they cross over to the other side of the valley. They head in towards the lap in Innsbruck after they've gone over the climb in Nadenwald. And once they're on the circuit, they've got this 8-kilometre climb, which is very tough indeed. We're here in Rattenberg again. There's the panel of commissaires who will be looking after the racing, making sure everything happens as it should. Rosemarine Amelan, who did so well in the time trial the other day, she is again in the race. Eleanor Backstead there is in the British team, but the British team now add Pfeiffer Georgie. Pfeiffer Georgie, who has just signed for Team Sunweb, going straight from the junior ranks into a World Tour level team. Germany with a very strong squad with Hannah Ludwig. Norway will be looking for a strong performance today. Sara Giganti is there for the Australian team again, and I'm sure we'll see a good performance from her today. 2 Australian riders in here. The Czech Republic have 3. There's a team of Kazakhstan. Hong Kong, China with a couple of representatives, and New Zealand with Neve Fisher-Black and Brittany Kerr. And there's a Japanese squad, Belarusians, and the United States of America always do well in this race. So they've got Abigail Youngworth and Jasmine So with Katie Klaus and Gabrielle Lehnert. Austria will be looking to put on a strong performance in front of their home crowd. Switzerland there with 3 riders, and Slovakia also with 3. Nations being given depending on their ranking points. There's the Spanish team. Chile with 1 rider, Catalina Sotocampos. South Africa with a couple of representatives. Canada so far have had a good championships with Leah Kirschman and Caroline Canuel the other day in the time trial. And that's our final 2 riders, with Nina Burton making up the 102 starters. This 517-kilometre river that we've talked about. Right, we're getting underway then. The peloton roll out for the Junior Women's Road Race Championship. 200 metres of neutralised just to get the peloton all together, and then the flag, or the disc this time, will be dropped on the riders, so they will then get underway. Well, the future's looking a bit brighter for these riders after the announcements of yesterday. Women's racing developing, and we're seeing more and more women riders in these fields. 102 taken to the junior start today. And yesterday the reforms announced in terms of the strategy of women's cycling coming up, and the announcement last night was, I guess, twofold. One of them being that there will be a 2-tier structure in women's cycling. World Tour teams, and then pro teams, who are more the continental level teams, I suppose, if you compare it to men's cycling. And then the most important reform offers their career the opportunity to do so without any misunderstanding about the fact that they should be paid, and there is no doubt that they should be paid to do their profession. Too many of the teams pay the riders very little money or nothing at all, and that's going to stop, and that is very, very good news for women's cycling. That was announced last night. There will be an audit done by the independent auditors to determine what the minimum salary will be, and that will come in 2020, and it can't come quick enough. Well, the Australians represented at the front now. We're now heading to Jandova. Slightly uphill now, past Wiesing, Rotals and Maurash. All the time the riders have the Carwendale Mountains that they can see. The Carwendale Mountains covers around about 920 kilometres. It's 125 summits in that mountain range, covering peaks of around 2 advantage. She's the junior champion of Kazakhstan in the time trial. Now looks like Russia are going to chase this one down with number 44 on the front, Marina Uvarova. Go to 35 seconds as they get shown on the board. I don't think the big teams will be too worried. I can imagine they're thinking, well, once we get to the mountain, she's going to come back. But you just don't know. You've got to gamble a little bit. Go to the side of the road. I think she actually just caught her wheel on the 47k to go. And it looks like Great Britain's surge has brought it all back together. Klinger is a difficulty, and now Eleanor Backstead is putting the tempo in on the climb. Then you have a big problem. So the climb now starts to bite in a moment. Backstead setting the tempo for Great Britain. This climb has ramps of up to 12% on it. As the riders go through Turfens. This is when we start to see who's climbing well now. Onto the climb then. That's the profile on the right-hand side through Turfens at the bottom. There's a lot of pilgrimage to Turfens at the bottom of the climb. And Thomas Roriga, who designed all the courses, the former pro. As we see a problem there on the left-hand side for number 49. That's Kurnosova. So Pashenko now in difficulty at the back. The tempo on this climb is very difficult. This takes you up the plateau at the foot of the Carwendale Nature Park. Well, the British rider April Tacey has been dropped, and so is number 53, and that's Lee Chu-Wing. A few riders finding this climb really hard. Paulina Pastuchek also in difficulty. Well, the Great Britain team with Amy Monkhouse and Amelia Sharp and Eleanor Backstead riding strongly at the front. Czech Republic represented. Canada represented. Italy also there. This climb is biting. The Italians now in the ascendancy on the left-hand side. Now a little bit of a move. Comes from Russia. And this looks like it's Gariva. Gariva's a European road race champion. So Gariva now testing out the rest of this peloton. Still got a leg warmers on. After this climb, they've got a 6-kilometre descent. Takes them all to the Spec Bakarov Inn. So Gariva now putting some riders in difficulty. A lot of riders are now distanced. Simchak also distanced, number 75. Hurkanova of Slovakia. There's going to be a much smaller group left at the top of this climb. Still 3K to go to the top of this climb now. So the damage being done by Gariva. And now little groups of riders all over the place. Gariva riding well on this climb. And a Stricker there on the right-hand side, not liking this. Number 55, Brittany Kerr of New Zealand, also being dropped. Number 11, Amy Monkhouse has been dropped for Great Britain. So Gariva really putting some riders into some difficulty. She's riding a really nice race here. The Italians, though, still look strong. That team, Camilla Alessio, Vittoria Gazzini, Barbara Malcotti, Matilda Vitillo. It's a very strong Italian team, and looks to me like they are dominating the front of the group. I think there's going to be 10 riders left at the top of this hill. Some riders coming across now. This is really finding out who's strong today. Looks to me like Pfeiffer Georgie coming across for Great Britain as well, the rider who's signed for Sunweb. But there are teams going to be just one rider left when they get to the top. The pace being set by Gariva is really hard at this moment. Still a long way to go to the top of the climb. Around 2 kilometres. Not really a steady tempo, is it? It's very, very hard. One Canadian rider coming across now. 2 Italians, so Italian squad have some strength in this breakaway group. 5 for Georgie makes the front group. Canadians represented, 1 Italian desperately trying to stay there. Oh, it's been a hard attack by Gariva. She rode really well when she took the European Championships. Danielle Latan, there, number 62 is Gabrielle Lenhart of the United States of America. Just in front of her is number 93, Elizabeth Jin. Looks to me like it's Simone Boyard of Canada who's in the group. So Canada represented, Czech Republic. Seven riders in this front group now then. Marketa is there for Italy. Georgie of Great Britain, Jandova. So most of the riders we would have expected to be here are here, but Italy have got strength in numbers. That's what they needed. Looks to me like it might be Camille Alessio. I'm just checking. It might be Gazzini. Certainly Marketa is there. Barbara Marketa. And a good ride by one of the Austrian riders to make it into this front group as well. So Austria represented in the front group, which is fantastic news. Looks like Laura Stigger. So a group of 7 riders now breaking away, and they've got a big advantage. They're working well together. Gap now 17 seconds. Sounds to me like there's a group of 5 behind. So certainly Jandova's here, Georgie of Great Britain, Marketa of Italy, Stigger of Austria. And Pfeiffer Georgie suffering at the back. It's not long to go to the top of this climb now, around about 1 kilometre. This is a hard climb. It is Simone Boyard of Canada who's made the front group. 8th in 2017. She's one of the pre-race favourites, I would say. And Pfeiffer Georgie is starting to get dropped. The rider on the front then is Jandova of the Czech Republic. The 2 Italians in here, Marketa and Alessio. Georgie is suffering badly at the back of this group. Doesn't look comfortable at all. Is she going to manage to stay there? She's the rider that everyone is expecting to win this race, potentially. She's one of the race favourites, but she really looks like she's unable to go with this tempo. She's fighting her way back into the wheels. They've got about 1 kilometre to go to the top. Stigger of Austria is there. The Czech Republic rider, Jandova, is the rider on the front. Stigger has done a great ride for Austria to be there. Things will calm down once they get to the top. But the Italians have a good breakaway combination here with Alessio, 3rd in the National Road Race Championships. Here's the chase. The chase is trying to come across. They're only 20 seconds behind. Another Italian here. So if they get there, they've got 3 riders in the front group. Number 16, Emilia Eustache is there. Number 7, the Dutch have totally missed this. Eva Jonkers. This race is made for climbers. Now things calm down. The plateau is starting to help this group. "43 kilometres to go, almost over the top of the climb at Nadenwald." A great push by this front group of 7. So a group of 7, then a group of 5. And this is the group that are chasing. And in this group, Guazzini of Italy, also Marie Lenné, who I would have expected to make that front group. Number 41 is Galamina of Russia, and also in the group is number 65, Olna Kilinish. So some of the riders that we may have expected to be in that front group are now in the chase, and there's every chance now that they're going to come back. Marie Lenné of France, fourth in the European time trial. The gap starting to close. They're almost there, the chasing group. This group working well. Well, the Canadian rider at the front, Simone Boyard, saying, come on then, let's do some work, but everyone's kind of happy to be over the top of the climb. So in terms of race radio, we're hearing that 30 seconds is the next group on the road, then 1 minute is the next group. Ignore the caption that says G Pfeiffer, it's P Georgie, as opposed to how it is on the screen. Galamalina, Gariva, Jandova, Kulinic and Stiga. 40 kilometres to go. Boyard of Canada. It's good to see her in here for the Canadians. Well, the initial breakaway, of course, was done by the rider from Russia. Sounds to me like there's a group of riders trying to come across as well. Laura Stiga is from Innsbruck. So she is racing back to her home city. 24 seconds is now the chase. There's the chase going on. Looks like there's a group, a quite big group coming back, trying to make their way back to the front before Innsbruck. Yeah, 14 riders now in this group who are trying to chase back. This group seemed to be starting to work together. But the chase group is working its way back to the front. Only 38 kilometres now remain. The final circuit is around 23k with a 7.9 kilometre climb on it. Going through to the front five for Georgia has started to work. The Italian team are able to think about saving some riders. There's a big group coming back now, led by the team of the Netherlands. Also in this group, Marketa Galland of France. In the group also is Botero of Colombia. The Eritrean rider on the back as well has made it to Keste. Now Russia starting to work. Two Russian riders in here now. Galamalina is working with her teammate who made the initial break. It was, of course, Gariva who made the attack on that climb. I expect we'll see her go again, and looks like everything is coming back together. So we're going to have a group of 25 now at the front of this race with 37.5 kilometres to go. .37 kilometres to go in the UCI Junior Women's Road Race. Thanks for joining us. We've had lots of skirmishes on the climb to Nagenwald, but now things have calmed down. 25 riders at the front. The Dutch have made it back with a couple of riders. They were dropped on the previous climb. The Russian squad were the team that really made all the moves. And the Eritrean rider relaxing at the back, D-set to Kest. Looks like Italy now have 4 riders in here. And the race now being set by the Dutch squad at the front. A big group of riders then. The rider on the front is Misabi of Denmark. To make their way over this bridge, which has got these unusual sprays on it. Group of 25 at the front of the race. In the group then, Alessio of Italy, Guazzini of Italy, Malcotti of Italy, and Vitilio of Italy. Also in there, Eva Jonkers of the Netherlands, with Roosmarijn Ameland, the world champion of the time trial. So the Dutch have got 2 riders in here. Also in the group is Pfeiffer Georgi of Great Britain. And France have done well now to recover, and they've got in the group Lee Corinier. Also in the group is Marketa Galland and Marie Linette of France, also with Jade Weil of France. Jade Weil, 5th in 2017. In the front group, Jakulska of Poland, number 38, Desiet Tekest of Eritrea, She's made it into that front group as well with a great ride. Anna Bajdak of Russia. Russia have got a good number of riders in here. Galamalina of Russia, Gariva of Russia, and also Uritseva of Russia. In the front group also Jandova of the Czech Republic. We saw her climbing really well on that climb. You have to keep the pressure on. There's no easy part of the road, even on the descent. Everyone looking around at each other. It's a bit more comfortable if you stay near the front. But these two riders somehow have just faded and been dropped. Someone leaves a wheel, then you have a big problem. So we've gone towards Tower now. Well, this is a lovely shot of an onboard camera of Bauernfeind of Germany as we see the riders racing downhill. This is the chasing group as they try to come back, so there's a bit more urgency in this huge group. 50 seconds behind this group of riders are, so they've got a big chase to try and get back before we get into Innsbruck. They really need to get there in the next 5 or 6k, or I think their race is over. There's a few teams who desperately want to get there, particularly USA. They've missed out. The Czech Republic have a rider up at the front. Slovenia don't. Germany have no riders, and I'm surprised about that because the likes of Hannah Ludwig, we would have expected to be up there at the front. But lovely onboard shots, right in the middle of the pack. Heading now down towards Tower. Lots of vegetable growing in this village, particularly lettuce, zucchini and carrots. But most than anything else, it's known for its radishes. And the Russian rider Gariva is pretty unhappy. She's not happy with the level of work being done. It really is down to the Italians to work this front group. If they decide not to, then this race is going to come back together before Innsbruck. They've done all the hard work. Now they really need to keep this race going. But the Italians aren't prepared to take this on. They want to wait until they get on the mountain. The blackboard just being shown to the front group, and that's how they are told what the time gaps are. And the Danish riders had enough. So Mi Saibi, she's gone away, decides if you're not going to work, then we've got to do something about it. So she goes on the attack, 30k to go. It's been a good race so far, plenty of action. Well, the chasing group of riders are coming back very, very quickly. 30 seconds we're being told on race radio. There's a big opportunity now for them to come back to the front. Through Tower then. Mia Saba is just trying to stir some interest into this front group of riders. She doesn't want the big group to come back, which is totally understandable. They've done the hard work. They've made the selection, but so often when you get a group of 25 riders, things just calm down. In fact, looking at this, to me, Hannah Ludwig is in here. We missed her. Well, I would have been surprised if she hadn't made the front group. So Hannah Ludwig is safely in here for Germany. Hannah Ludwig, 15th in 2017, but 3rd in the European Road Race Championship. So she has made the selection. Still a lot of racing to go, 29 kilometres. This is the chase group. In here is number 37 for Australia, Anja Lowe, the Oceania time trial champion. Also in here is Caroline Anderson of Sweden. They're on the back on the right hand side. Canada with a couple of riders in this group. Caitlin Roveda and also Magdalene Valeria Smil. And now an attack at the front, and the Russian rider isn't very happy. The European Road Race champion, Agil Gariva, she made the attack on the climb. Now she's trying to split things up again. She's just trying to get some more interest into this front group. The Italians must be annoying everybody. They're not really doing what they would be expected to do, which is to drive this on a little bit. There's a little rise here. We're going to go down to Artsel and then into the circuit, and then we hit the climb to Eagles. In this group is Jade Veal, who was 5th in 2017 for France. Certainly a rider I expected to see in the front group, and she's riding strongly. There's us picking out Rosemary Amalan. She's kind of had a second life here. She missed the front group, now she's safely back. And that's what bike racing's all about. When you get dropped, you just don't give up, you try and come back. Sometimes a race can turn around for you. You have had a bad patch, you're not feeling so good. And then suddenly you think, do you know what? I'm actually feeling good now. More little churches up on the side here. Only a few kilometres from the circuit. Well, we've seen already who the strong riders are on that climb that we were on previously. But this next climb is a very different proposition. So we're going to go into Innsbruck now. And we do one lap of a circuit of just under 24k, the Olympic circuit. The 8-kilometre climb takes us from around 580 metres to 1,032 metres above sea level. Takes us from the bottom station of the cable car onto the Pachkoffel mountain. Hosted the Olympic events in 1964 and 1976. When you get over the top, the descent is super quick back into Innsbruck. Yesterday, I was following riders down into Innsbruck and they were hitting 80, 90 kilometers an hour on a training ride. The climb itself, in terms of its gradient, ranges anywhere from 3% to around 7.5%. There is one little section, the average gradient I'm speaking about, but there's a couple of ramps where it hits 9.8, 10%. So it really is a hard climb. On the top of the mountain, the alpine skiing, luge and bobsleigh events took place in the Olympics in 64 and 76. So the riders now into the finishing circuit in Innsbruck. And this is your first opportunity to see what everyone's been talking about over the last few months as to just whether this circuit is going to test the riders. Well, there's no question about that whatsoever. This is one of the hardest circuits you'll have seen in a World Championships. There must be a little bit of nervousness, a bit of adrenaline now in the minds of these riders, because this is about to get very, very hard. Everyone just settling in. Number 36 there, Sara Giganti. But she's in the chasing group around about 1 minute behind. Kevin Rocky Evans, thank you very much for your message. Very much appreciated. Thanks to all of you watching. Who do you think is going to win? What nation is going to take the title in this junior women's road race? It's been an entertaining race so far. In towards the circuit, and they're going to come past my commentary box now for the first time, and we'll see them go through and then head out to the circuit. So they've got around 3k to go to the climb, and then the big climb will start, 8 kilometers uphill. That's where this race is going to be made. Beautiful sunny day on the front of the race. Russia setting the tempo. The peloton chasing at 55 seconds. But now, as they make their way up to complete the run-in, the crowd are cheering them on. A nice big crowd here in Innsbruck. Across the line then, with the Italians leading, with Matilda Vitilo. So now they're going to wind their way through Innsbruck. And it's a little bit twists and turns its way through here now. Yesterday, when I was in the car, it's very, very narrow at times. But this front group riding well. This is the chasing group of riders behind. They're not actually too far behind. It's a big group of riders. And I think they're around about 40 seconds down now as they make their way towards the mountain. 1 lap of racing to go. And at the front then, Backstead leads through. There's a lovely onboard shot in the middle of that peloton. 45 seconds is the current situation. I can't see them getting back. There might be some riders in this group who produce an amazing 8-kilometer climb. 45 seconds is not too bad to actually be able to bring back. So let's see whether it's possible. To the front of the chasing group, Eleanor Backstead of Great Britain, Silde Mathieson of Norway, Femke Gerritsen of the Netherlands, Neve Fisher-Black of New Zealand, Jasmine So of the United States of America, Anastasia Koloseva was also near the front. So the race situation, just to remind you then, for Russia, Galamolina for Italy, Vitilio, Bajdak of Russia, Jonkers of the Netherlands, Malcotti of Italy, Ludwig of Germany, Jaskulsa of Poland, Galland of France, Jandova of the Czech Republic, Sabi of Denmark, Courinier of France, Georgi of Great Britain, Stigger of Austria, Nahom City, Alessio of Italy, Guazzini of Italy, Viel of France, Amalan of the Netherlands, Gariva of Russia, Kawaguchi of Japan, Lene of France, Boyard of Canada, Tekesta of Eritrea, Botero of Colombia, Ritseva of Russia and Kilinich of the Ukraine. 25 riders now in the front group with a 46-second advantage. 1.1 kilometres then until the next climb, and Russia really piling on the pressure. Trying to make it very, very hard into the base of this mountain, and it is a mountain. Takes us to 1,032 metres above sea level, through the feeding zone now. As these riders get themselves ready, we'll find out who is the best mountain climber in this race. And remember, you go over the top, then it's a very fast descent back into Innsbruck. You wind your way through the roads of Innsbruck, through a little cobbled section, over a little climb which is really hard. We were talking about that last night. It stings the legs. Then it's fast over the top, down into a flat section and a run into the finish. So the front group really is making no impact at all. 55 seconds is the advantage. Everyone's calmed right down in this front group. Some riders getting rid of some drink. I don't know if that's a good idea. I know you don't want to climb holding the drink, but it's still starting to warm up. The sun is beating on the backs of these riders. It's very exposed on this mountain climb. And we're nearly there. Russia going to the front. Yesterday I followed Lisa Longoborghini and Elena Cecchini going up this climb. The Tour of the Alps, they rode it in 16 minutes. Yesterday Elisa Longoborghini looked really comfortable riding up it, at times on the big ring, on the flatter sections. Elena Cecchini was doing efforts on the mountain. So it's going to be an interesting few days of racing, and this is the first time we get to see it. Be interesting to see who's going to set the tempo. Sitting in second place there is Malcotti. Russian riders looking strong. The French, there's the profile, takes you, there you see those little sections at around 10%. There's a 400-metre section after you go through Aldrans, which is really quite steep. So there's moments on this mountain where you think this isn't too bad. And moments where you really think, actually, this is a very, very hard mountain. So a big attack at the front, and it comes from Agil Gariva of Russia, who jumps away. An immediate reaction at the back. So Gariva wants to get into this mountain with a lead already. The Polish rider goes across to join her, Marta Jaskulska. Bronze medalist in the European time trial. But the reaction comes as it should from the Italians. And it is Matilda Vitilio who is going to bring the race back together. But Gariva doesn't want to go onto this mountain without an advantage. She was the best climber, though, on the previous climb. She's just trying to mix things up a little bit. Thank you for all your messages. So just a few meters. Gareva, the national champion of the individual time trial for Russia. Junior road race champion of Europe. 7th the other day in the individual time trial. She's not such a good time trialer. She's more of a road rider. She likes to mix things up a little bit. But the Italians are happy. They've brought the race back together. I think they're riding for Alessio. Or maybe Gazzini. One of those two. Well, Marketa and Vitilio will ride for the two of them. Onto the mountain then, 19.5 kilometres to go. Not far to Aldrans, which is where the climb really starts to bite. Aldrans lies at 760 metres above sea level. And you'll notice riders now. Oh, a little bit of an attack at the front. And the Ukrainian rider goes. Big attack from number 65, Volna Kilinic. Immediate reaction then. I noticed that the Austrian rider deciding to take the arm warmers down, Laura Stigger. Stigger of Austria is one rider to worry about in here if you're one of these riders. Junior mountain bike cross-country world champion. Already 4 times a European title winner. And Laura Stigger, her motto is one speed, flat out. She's a Red Bull athlete. She's already been noticed as a possible contender in Tokyo 2020. And a few riders starting to be dropped. One of them is Vitilio now being dropped from this front group. And the Eritrean rider also is being dropped from this front group, and that's Desetti Kesta. The Japanese rider being dropped as well. And the other Russian rider is being dropped, and that's, I think, Uretseva who is being dropped. This will just get thinned down. This does not relent for a long, long time. Laura Stigger there on the left-hand side with the long flowing hair out the back of the helmet. Happy, comfortable here. Italian rider just looking for a bottle on the right-hand side of the road. Some more riders being dropped. The rider from the Czech Republic looking comfortable there in the centre. Number 46 from the Czech Republic, Jandova, 7th in the European Championships. She was the rider who rode with Gareva on that previous climb. She's riding near the front all of the time here. She likes to set her own tempo, particularly on this mountain. 1:40, the peloton is not coming back. The race will be decided here from this front group of riders. Marketa there in the white glasses. Boyard is looking good for Canada. She looks very comfortable. Laura Stigger knows this climb better than anybody. She's the rider with the yellow helmet on, and being dropped at the back now is Bidak. She's trying to come back if she can. Anna Bidak. Number 70 in a little bit of difficulty too, Mia Saba. It's one of those days where you just have to put yourself through it. Colombian rider Botero looking comfortable on this mountain. I thought she would. Once it got onto a climb that wasn't quite so steep, but was taking you up to a bit more altitude, then you were always going to expect her to be there. And the recovery then of Mia Saba, and also number 40 is Anna Bedak. Still a lot of climbing to go. It's the little town of Lens, which we are heading up to now. Still around 3 or 4k to go to the top of this mountain. Who's going to have the strength to go away before the top? Another little acceleration comes from number 46, and that's Veronika Jandova. She's happy on these climbs. She likes this terrain. The Italian rider's just trying to keep this under control. They don't want Gariva to go to the front. She's up on the pavement. And here comes the attack then from the local rider, Laura Stigger of Austria. One speed, flat out, and that is what she is doing. She knows this climb. She goes away with a furious acceleration. Well, she knows exactly how far it is to the top. Laura Stigger looking superb as she piles on the pressure on everyone else. She started racing against the local boys. Crashed really hard in her first ever race, but it never stopped her finishing. Now she's the junior cross-country world champion. Now she's putting riders into difficulty. Galamolina is dropped. So is Bidak. Laura Stigger is breaking this race up. Coming up to her is Malcotti. Barbara Malcotti and Stigger now at the front of this World Championship. Simone Boyard trying to come across for Canada. Great race this has been. Action all the time. They really haven't held back. So at the front of the race now, it looks like we're going to have a group of 3. And the 3 riders we constantly see in the main moves, and they have to get rid of the Russian because she's so strong today, Gariva. She seems happy to attack, but there needs to be a concerted effort by 3 or 4 riders, and that's what's happening now. Barbara Malcotti, Laura Stigger in the red with a yellow helmet, and behind her is Simone Boyard trying to come back as Gariva. 15 kilometres to go in this Junior Women's World Championship. It has been a stunning race so far. Sometimes junior racing is just one pack because of the restricted gears, but not today. We are seeing a proper road races. 3 riders go for the medals. It's in their interest now. 3 different countries, 3 riders, gold, silver, bronze if they ride together. Simone Boyard goes to the front for Canada. The Italians are happy with the way things are going here. Pfeiffer Georgie of Great Britain no longer there. She's been dropped. And now Gariva goes on the attack. So I would have thought that Pfeiffer Georgie would be one of the riders who would have been here. She's been highlighted as the talent of the junior ranks. Camilla Alessio now trying to go across for Italy. And Gariva is there. This race really has started to break up. Simone Boyard of Canada has been matching every single move on these mountains. She's starting to set a tempo that's growing the advantage to 15 seconds. Now she's putting into difficulty the previous good climber, Jandova. Simone Boyard, not too worried. 1 kilometre to go to the summit of this race. And now a big attack. A big attack by the Italian rider, Malcotti. Boyard has set the tempo, and now she's got to try and react to Malcotti going clear. Laura Stigger of Austria looking for an Austrian gold medal. Look how hard she's trying here to stay on the wheel of the Italian. Boyard finished 8th last year in these Junior World Championships in her first year. She's the time trial champion in 2016 of Canada. She was highlighted by the Canadians as a woman to watch. Now they're near the top of the mountain. What's the gap's going to be? It's a flat-out descent now down to the bottom of this circuit. And 3 riders clear. Laura Stigger. The gap is around 28 seconds. One more Italian rider trying to go across. Boyard of Canada. Here's the group coming in now for the 9th place. And 9th place is going to go to the Danish rider, and that is Mia Saber. Superb bike race. Made the accelerations when she had to, and she wins in 1 hour 56 minutes 26 seconds, beating Marie Lenette of France into 2nd place, and a great bronze medal for Simone Boyard of Canada, who did so much work. Behind them, the Italians, well, Malcotti played an interesting game and it didn't pay off. Here's the run of the top 20 riders. Still counting through the top 30. And the top 37 riders who finished today's race, with the New Zealander Niamh Vischer-Black there. Abigail Youngworth of USA in 31st place. Kelsey Van Schuur of South Africa in 33rd.